up, guys? Dinofries here, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like Stardew Valley. While I have played and enjoyed every single Animal Crossing game thus far, Stardew Valley is too complex for my liking. I do enjoy simulation games and RPGs, but to an extent. That's why this upcoming game, Moonstone Island, caught my eye, because it's like Stardew Valley meets Pokemon, according to a YouTube short that sort of went viral not too long ago. Fortunately, the developers at Studio Supersoft reopened a demo for the game recently, and so I was finally able to experience Moonstone Island firsthand. Here's my thoughts following my playthrough. So after a brief tutorial, which tells you how to do basic farming stuff, you pick your starter Pokemon. I mean spirit. The little electric devil bee thingy looked cute, so I picked him. Then you learn how to do battles, which are surprisingly interesting. I didn't expect the combat to be much, but it's not Pokemon in a good way. More on this later. Then you reconvene with mom and dad and set off on your adventure. You're dropped onto this island that has a town full of friendly folks who are psyched to have an alchemist around. You're an alchemist, by the way. I forgot to mention that. There's about a dozen people who you can make relationship with, do quests for, and even date, sorry. This is where the Stardew Valley part comes in. It's pretty much exactly that. There's a tavern, there's a shop, there's a furniture store, there's a fisherman's place, a sauna, a blacksmith, a conservatory, etc. It's a pretty nice looking, lively town. There's a beach, there's a dock. You get the picture. Once you're done meeting everyone, you pick a spot outside of town to deploy your tent and get to landscaping. That means hacking away grass, chopping down trees, and pounding stones. Then comes the farming, smacking that hoe into the ground, planting seeds, and watering them to grow crops. And really, how you spend your time on Moonstone Island it's really up to you. I mean, do you want to be a farmer or a tamer? The answer is both, but after doing some quests, going on a couple of dates, and setting up a nice little home for myself, after taking much time to gather resources and craft, I was good with the farming for now. I wanted to check out the taming, because if you don't seek it out, the taming, you don't experience the taming, except for in caves where you go to mine. So yeah, monsters don't just show up in the world when you're farming, or at least not on the starting island. Again, you have to seek them out. They were creeping around in those caves I mentioned when I was mining, but they're also in dungeons or other islands, and you can get to these other islands after you craft a balloon, which you can then use to float over to any of the surrounding islands. And it seems like there's plenty of islands to explore, so that's cool. Okay, now let's talk about the battles. Finally, I am hungry for some meat and potatoes. Moonstone Island features a turn-based deck builder combat system. If you're into deck building, you'll like this, but if you're not into deck building, you'll still like this, because the system is not overly complicated whatsoever. Each spirit on your team, you have a max of 3. They have a set of cards, so you get a random hand each time. So like all those 3 monsters jumbled up, you get a random set from all the different monsters. There's attacks, or there's skills, and they use energy. You start with the energy pool of 3, and when your pool depletes, your turn ends and the enemy goes. But the way it works is that there's armor on each side. Your team has armor, their team has armor, and you have to break the enemy's armor to effectively inflict damage on them. So then, and once they're broken, and your team can get broken too, you have to rest, and they miss a turn, and then you win the battle by killing the enemies or catching them with Pokeballs. Taming them. You get the idea. It's pretty classic. There's items. You heal your monsters. You can boost them. You can boost their stats. There's type effectiveness, and yeah, I liked it a lot. I was surprised at how much I liked it. I didn't expect much, I guess, because I thought, okay, it's Stardew Valley meets Pokemon, so like, okay, there will be, a turn-based RPG in here, but it'll probably be basic. But no, it's pretty complex. Like, it's challenged enough to be engaging. I enjoyed the visuals a lot. I liked like the battle scene, and the pace was nice. I didn't even use fast mode. There's an option to enable fast mode so the battles go quicker, and I usually do this when playing RPGs because they get sloggy, but I didn't with this. I enjoyed, the real-time speed of the combat. So really cool combat. And then in terms of progression, your spirits level up with experience, and then you have the choice to boost either their armor, their speed, their vitality, or their power. You choose 1 or 3 cards to add to their deck, and then also, like, in the overworld, you find these talismans, and then you can use those to either upgrade a card or remove a card from your deck. So, to thin out the pool in case you have a card in your deck for a monster that you don't use. And that's how I spent the rest of the demo. Island hopping, looking for dungeons to crawl through, because the dungeons are super fun. I enjoyed the farming aspect. I did. Like I said, I liked Animal Crossing. I like a simple, simulation. I find that very fun. And what you do, in the farming aspect does contribute to beefing up your spirits. But the dungeons were where it's at for me. There's light puzzles, there's monsters to fight, there's chests to open, and there's a boss fight at the end. And if you beat the boss, you reach a tree, and that tree boosts your stamina. So your stamina bar is what your character uses to perform actions such as mining and crafting and things like that. And if it hits 0, you collapse. Also, I'd like to point out, so Moonstone Island features a leveling system outside of the monsters for your character itself. So like, if you do things for that day and then you go to sleep, you'll be given a point to invest in your characters. He has a system. So there's like foraging or like talking to people, and you invest points that way to make your character better at certain things. Unfortunately, my final moments in the game were falling from the sky into the abyss. The demo only gives players 8 days of in-game time, which I didn't read that. I just played and then it caught me by surprise. And that's how I know I enjoyed Moonstone Island, because I was sad it was over. So yeah, this game has potential, like big time. At least that's what I gathered from the demo. Even though Moonstone Island does seem more Stardew Valley than Pokemon, I think there's enough from both sides of the spectrum to excite fans of either genre. It was certainly like the almost perfect amount for me, I'd say. And shoot, I can't wait for this game to come out. Anyways, what do you guys think of Moonstone Island? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're there, drop a like too. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and buy my merch. And yeah, that's it for me today. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.